Hey, folks. This is Princess Jenny. We're shaking it up for our very last episode. How do you like that? I'm doing the intro. It's just a baby intro because we are coming back for the climactic conclusion, part 2 of Heart Part 2.
Yeah, I'm Force Captain Meph, and I'm really excited to get into this.
When we left off, Adora was in her beautiful future fantasy, which was rudely interrupted.
What a jerk.
By asshole king, Horde Prime, came in and told her that she would have no future. Rude.
So rude.
So here we are.
Yeah, so we're here. What a dick. And they're in this, I don't know, they're like in the void.
Yeah, so before the transition to the void is interesting.
Yeah.
Because it's like he blows on her and then the whole holodeck simulation just sort of deteriorates and the ground underneath them starts to crack as it turns green and black. It's like the reality is cracking.
Like the not pink version of Portal and Remember.
Yeah. And so it doesn't just like disappear in a blaze of light or a blaze of green or anything like that. It very much deteriorates. And it pixelates as she falls.
Because technology versus magic.
Because technology corrupts.
Because corrupt technology corrupts. Oh, sometimes when I get a really tasty bit of information, I speak like a 2-year-old. It happens. I'm like, oh, that's really exciting.
That's relatable content for me.
No, for real. You're just like, and I have regressed.
Yeah, and you know how I get when there's a visual transition, I have to go like frame by frame through it.
Jenny, that's what we count on you for, the visual stuff.
Yes, that's what I like.
That's what you like.
So that happens and she like falls. First, these like 2 green bands trap her. She's got this like diagonal cross. And she falls into the abyss.
She's restrained and floating in the abyss. It's like you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of The Sunken Place.
Very much from Get Out.
Yeah, it's very Sunken Place where she's literally like, she's in this void, she's constrained and she can't get out, but she knows she's still there. Which, by the way, existentially terrifying to me.
Yeah.
Of course. The unspeakable.
Yes, being the unspeakable also, like being unable to speak, but knowing you're still there. Yikes.
Yeah, and I have a note that it's like beautiful even though it's awful.
Yes.
You know, she's still in this like beautiful dress. It's like she's the queen of the damned. She's the queen of this underworld.
Oh, it's the same dress, right? She's like in the same dress.
Yeah. Her dress stays even though everything else disappears. And she still has her diadem, as you called it, her little crown. So it's like he's made her the queen of non-existence. It's like she has to remain aware as reality disappears.
Oh, it's like she's going to be the last thing he destroys. And so she has to watch it all.
Yes, and that is like definitely my worst nightmare as a little kid, is being like the last person left in the world and everything else is gone. Like the ultimate loneliness. You're the last living thing left on a dead planet in a dead universe. It's absolutely terrifying.
Absolutely terrifying. I'm not surviving the zombie apocalypse. I'm very happy about that. I'm not going to do it. I'm be like, fuck. All right, it's cool. I got bad knees and a big mouth. So I don't want to do it. And it is a terrifying idea. It's like that Twilight Zone episode where there's the person who's the last person on Earth. And he's like, finally, I have all of the time in the world to enjoy reading my books, and his glasses break.
Oh, yes. Yeah. I remember that too. Absolutely. Right. It's not exactly the same, but it's a similar vibe.
Right.
She has no desire to be the last person left in the world with all the peace.
Yeah.
The piece of total destruction.
Right. And it's very interesting to hear something that I, noticed. With Horde Prime, we're always playing with the motifs of light and dark, right? Like light is actually not light, dark is actually not dark.
The purifying light of Horde Prime.
The purifying light versus the darkness of magic, of space.
And the safety of the womb, perhaps.
Safety of the womb. Also, like, concepts of yin and yang, et cetera, et cetera. Totally makes sense. But here we see her plunged into complete darkness by Horde Prime.
In her white dress.
In her white dress. So his cleansing light is not. And we're seeing this here, right? We're seeing this, like, his cleansing light is actually the void.
I like the detail of her tears, like, going up as she's falling.
Yes.
Yes, I love that too, the disorientation. And, because in the void of nothingness, there is no up or down or gravity or center. It's just the void. There's nothing left to reach for.
Oh, Jenny.
Oh!
Oh, Jenny. What a fucking segue.
Nice.
Damn! So Adora, who is bound and floating in the void, tears finding a way to move, though how are they moving? We don't know.
Yeah. She looks like she's ready to give up and just give in. But what happens in this moment where she is completely just ready to surrender?
Why, Jenny, into the void leaks the light, and out of that light comes the light of love herself. Sweet baby Catra reaching for her into the void.
Mm-hmm.
And sweet baby Catra is crying. She is not doing great here, which I don't blame her.
Yeah.
I like Ashley's response was like, duh. Good job, Meph. Incredibly astute observation.
I think you're on the right track in your thinking here.
See, Ashley, I'm a professional.
This is what you get when you have solid professional podcasters together.
3 professional podcasters here. I think that girl who's like trying to find a girlfriend's pretty sad.
Trying to find her girlfriend's consciousness in the deep, dark void.
Catra opens the door, is backlit. And I'm not talking like, oh, backlit, she's got shadows. But like she is coming in from the light.
Yes.
From a high above. Like she is not so subtly being like a creature from up on high. There's something very angelic about that. But there's also something very like profane about this like crying cat girl screaming for Adora's name into the void, reaching for her.
Also, I like that it's like a parallel to the first episode when Adora falls into the thing during the simulation and she helps her back up. Like, that's what I think of immediately when I see her from that angle.
Oh, that is an amazing callback.
Yeah, I have not thought of that.
Yeah.
Me either.
Hell yeah, that is a great callback because this is about the promise. And, the promise to pull you out of the void, the promise to bring you back from the dead.
Yeah.
And just the promise to look out for each other. And just layers upon layers of what that means.
And there are so many examples of the two of them. Just that one in the beginning, we have in Promise, Catra letting go of the ledge. Catra also letting go of the ledge in Princess Prom. Like, there's so many examples. Catra's the one that's usually in the void. And Catra's the one that falls into the void on her own recognizance.
Right, but the first time we ever see them reach for each other, it's Catra reaching down to pull Adora up.
Yeah.
In that first episode when she fell into that hole in the floor in the training simulation. And this does mirror that. That's a great callback.
We go back to the very beginning here.
Yeah. And so for the rest of this scene, which is like the most important scene in the whole series, we have these quick flips back and forth between Catra holding Adora's unconscious body in the real world versus what Adora sees in her unconscious mind in the simulation.
Yes.
But they're both, Catra and Adora, having this pivotal interaction of Catra pulling Adora back from the void and getting her to to give this final bit of fight that she feels ready to give up. And Catra's like, no, girl, you're going to fight because I love you. And giving her a reason, because in the past, when Catra has asked Adora to stay and reached out for her, it was more for her own sake, for Catra's sake. Like, I need you here.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to stay. I have reasons that I have needs that you need to meet for me.
Right.
And this feels like the first time. I mean, inherently, yes, we're all selfish. We love each other because we're selfish beings and we want love. But in this, there's fundamentally no getting away from that.
Right.
But in this instance, it feels more like Catra wants to help Adora. She's like, I love you and I want to be here for you and I'm going to help you get through this kind of vibe, which is more of a shift. It's a more equal dynamic. They've been building up to this for years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And she says, Adora, please, you have to wake up. That's the first line. And then it flashes back to Catra holding Adora's unconscious body underneath the heart, which is now fully jacked up.
Oh, yeah.
Over their heads. It's like, vroom, vroom, vroom.
It is full of juice. It is undulating.
And so, and Catra's next line in the real world, when she's just sort of crying quietly, she doesn't have to shout when she's just talking to Adora's unconscious body right there in her arms. She says, you can't give up. You've never given up on anything in your life, not even on me. So now that's what really makes it feel like she's flipped it. She's like, you've been here for me. Now I'm going to be here for you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to let you die. I'm going to drag you out of the abyss. If it's the last thing I ever do, I'm not letting you die.
And you know what? It very might.
It very might. And then it flips quickly back into Adora's POV in the projection. She's still holding out her hand into the abyss and she's screaming, so don't you dare start now. And that's what gives Adora that last rally of strength to break out of those restraints and stretch her own hand back out to Catra.
Yes.
And so now they're both reaching for each other. And we get, that final full screen shot of them reaching for each other's hands.
I had never noticed until this rewatch, making notes for this, the rainbow glare that's on Catra's wrist while they're reaching for each other.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I didn't notice that at all.
This is the gayest moment in the entire series. Gonna say it. That is just like the gay icing on the gay cake. That is like the gay gilding of the gay lily. That is like if you took gay, made it a triple stack gay, supersized the gay, put it in the gay microwave and warmed it up until it was just that right amount of gooey gay.
One of those rainbow gay layer cakes where, it's a vanilla cake, but it's like a 7-layer cake and every layer has been dyed a different color of the rainbow. So you just cut into it and it's like, ta-da, gay cake.
Gay cake. So it's just like a little bit of gay cake, a little bit of gay shimmer there in our gay reaching. Because gosh dang it, these girls sure do like to reach for each other's hands, don't they?
They sure do. They sure do. And Adora is still just so tired. Like, she's reaching, and they're so close, but they still can't quite reach. And Adora, and they both have tears in their eyes, and Adora's exhausted voice says, it's too late, I've failed. And Catra says, no. And then flipped back in the real world, Catra, holding Adora's limp body.
Mm-hmm.
And she, has one hand cradling the back of her head. She says, I've got you. I'm not letting go.
Yep, Catradora, Pieta again. Pieta-ing again.
Yes, back to La Pieta, Meph's favorite topic of expertise. It's true. This is back to La Pieta. And they've switched their positions. And when Catra says, I've got you, I'm not letting go, for like whatever happens, like Catra has already said, I'm staying with you no matter what happens next.
Yeah.
You don't have to be strong. Like, it's okay, whatever you are, I'm still gonna be here.
It's acceptance. It's acceptance that when you've pushed yourself so much, you think that you need to give everybody everything you have, as we just seen. So when that person that loves you is saying, I love you
unconditionally, it's an expression of unconditional love.
It's an expression of unconditional love without saying the words, I love you, right? It's, you can be weak.
Right. You can fall apart and I will be here.
This isn't about what I need from you. This is about what I can extend to you.
Yes, yeah.
Exactly. And I think it was like hearing that and really feeling it that allowed Adora to have, that extra well of strength. It's like there's so many different things that allow people to have like a final well of strength when they feel like they can't anymore. Like moms having the strength to pull a car off their baby, and there have been studies that say that, cursing allows you to tolerate pain that you couldn't otherwise tolerate.
Interesting, yeah.
Oh, that really hurts when you just scream fuck. Like there's ways that you can push past a threshold of tolerance or, rally a final well of strength that is beyond what you should be able to summon, And so these expressions from Catra being like, I'm here with you no matter what is more than Adora ever thought she would get. And it allows her, and because it changes, it subtly shifts her motivation from like, well, I have to do this for everyone versus like, I'm going to do this for us. And part of that is for myself. Like, I'm going to have a happy ending.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Gosh.
And then, because it switches right back to their hands being closer and closer, it's like giving her more and more stamina.
See, when I first watched this, I was like, is Adora actually trying to reach or is she giving up? But then as I rewatched it, I was like, no, she is. She's just fighting against every single thing that she has.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a war between giving up and not giving up in that moment.
Yeah. And she accepts the hand.
I mean, she accepts the hand after Catra says her last line. Who wants to say it?
I think our guest should say it.
Don't you get it? I love you. I always have, so please, just this once. Stay.
Yay.
Folks, if we didn't have what followed this would be the gayest moment in the series.
Yeah.
It could easily be.
It could easily be the gayest moment in the series. This is the point in which, on my first watch, I jumped out of, I was watching it in bed with my then cat, and I jumped on the bed and started yelling, gay. And I was not ready.
Yeah, coupled with their hands meeting and intertwining.
Yeah, in a very, like, almost erotic. I would actually say that is, like, kind of an erotic way to, like, hold hands. They're not, like, holding hands. Like, other times they've held hands, it's been grasping at the wrist to like...
Yeah, this is the way you grab hands when you're fucking.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny.
We've never pretended to be a PG-13 podcast.
No, this is intimate. There is eroticism here. There is intimacy that they have never expressed to each other here. And Catra says stay one more time, sobbing into Adora's chest. But oh boy, all she had to say was that. And just as she says this, of course, friends, the heart decides that it's going to do its final battle with Adora.
Yes, it doesn't like them giving off this much gay energy.
It doesn't really like it. It's homophobic. The heart's homophobic. It drops its nasty green energy.
And Catra braces for impact.
They're ready to die together because, you know, you and me at the end of the world, deeply romantic trope. Love it.
Yes.
But something stops them.
What is it?
The shield of gay love protection.
The shield of gay love. She is literally taking what is left inside of her and shielding the two of them by creating this manifestation of a shield. Right? She's not fighting like she is when she can create the sword. She is protecting. This is the shield of protection. It's the sword of protection's ultimate form as a shield that is taken from her love. Their love. And now we know that it's their love. So Adora summons this shield, and is just super like blanc and like it almost feels nonchalant because it's like her arm just goes up and then the shield just like scatters the laser payload, and she just looks up at Catra and says, "You love me?" And it's like she's exhaling this almost in this transcript it says relief, and I agree, it comes from a place of relief. It's like, "You love me?"
Yeah, that's exactly right.
And of course, because Catra can only be vulnerable in really particular ways, sobbing says, "You're such an idiot."
It's like a laugh sob. It's like that outpouring of emotion that's like undifferentiated stress relief. Like, oh, it's like a laugh and a sob at the same time.
I was going to say relief. It's relief.
It's also relief. The two of them are just like, "Oh, fucking finally." And then everyone is like, "Oh, fucking finally." And then we are all like, jumping on the chairs and couches and beds being like, "But why?" You know, speaking in tongues at this point.
Like, we have this one moment of levity when she says, "You're such an idiot." But as soon as she says that, her eyes get huge and like, you know, her whole body language and her ears perk up. She's like, "Oh, this is actually really serious." And they just stare at each other. And I wrote in all caps, "For real, for real."
Yeah, not for play.
Yeah. As Adora says, "I love you too."
And she like she's tense, and in that moment she like relaxes when she smiles a little bit.
Yeah. And they finally both get to have like all the tension of this moment and everything they've been through for the last 5 seasons. I don't know if it's been exactly 5 years, but it's been 5 seasons. Just go out of them as they save the universe with their big gay kiss.
Catra smiles, moves in, takes Adora's head, leans down, and kisses her on the lips.
And the failsafe starts to glow. Happy bisexual bright moon colors.
Fantastic.
The green of Prime's virus instantly disappears from Adora's skin.
Mm-hmm.
And then her hair magically releases from its ponytail because she finally feels completely free. And she doesn't have to maintain complete control over herself every second. And then they both turn the magical colors, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's more than just the bright moon colors. It's this gorgeous, it's like, you know, it's like the prism, all the colors inside the prism.
Yes, I was going to say it's like the prism. It's like an iridescent prismal rainbow.
Yeah.
Yes. And it eventually envelops the whole room, starting from them, that radiates out from them.
Well, that's how queer love saves the universe, right? It just takes one simple, small moment of vulnerability and love and gayness. And there is nothing more romantic than a kiss at the end of the world.
That's true.
They set that magic free.
That kiss set the magic free. I will tell you what. Friends, I have a question for you.
Yes, Math.
Jenny, I'm going to ask you first, and then I'm going to ask Ashley. What did you do when you first saw this scene?
Well, I have to be totally honest. When these episodes first dropped, it was the spring of 2020. And so my long COVID brain fog was at its absolute worst. So I can't pretend that I have a perfect memory of when I first watched this scene. But I'm pretty sure, you know, I just jumped up and down and screamed a lot. Like, in just total disbelief. I can't remember if I watched these episodes for the first time with my roommate Jonah or by myself. I know we watched the whole series together.
Right.
But, you know, I was probably burning through it the first time at a much faster rate than he was able to keep up with.
Right.
So I probably watched it by myself when I was watching it for the first time. And, you know, the level of disbelief, like, holy shit, I can't believe this really happened. I was probably just like screaming a lot, like, oh my God, this is real. This is really happening. And just like the total disbelief, punching the couch, screaming, jumping up and down.
Yeah.
Like, I can't believe this is real. Like, this really happened. We really get to have this. Holy shit.
Yeah. Totally. What about you, Ashley?
So I didn't watch this until it was all out already.
Mm-hmm.
And I binged it like from beginning to end. And I knew that they kissed at some point because the internet exists. And I was on it. But I had obviously spent 5 seasons waiting for it. So I know I cried. I don't think I jumped up or anything. I'm pretty sure I melted into the couch, like further, and was just like sobbing.
Aww.
Yeah, I was definitely also crying. Goes without saying.
Aww.
How about you, Meth?
Well, so I was in my room at the time, watching it with my lovely cat at the time, who also loved watching the show with me. And when I saw this, I paused the TV. Like, I was like watching it by myself because I'm like, this is my show. I'm going to watch it by myself. And I avoided the internet because I didn't watch it the day it dropped. I watched it like maybe a few days afterwards. And I avoided the internet because I'm like, I don't want to know what happens. I want to take this all in. And I watched it. And when this happened, I paused it and I jumped on my bed and lost my goddamn mind. This is my big hero from when I was 5 years old, and I would be able to play She-Ra, and I would be able to have a sword and play somebody that is cool and strong and not just somebody's girlfriend. And so when I saw this, it really hit me in like the little baby gay, and seeing a queer person letting kids these days, but letting younger kids be able to see their hero be queer, be happy, and save the world with love that may not look like what people say love should look like was fucking mind-blowing for me. And I think it's pretty safe to say that this small moment has changed my entire life. It has not been the same ever since.
Yeah, one of the things I did a lot in the days immediately following, like obviously I watched it, had a big reaction, rewatched, the last 5 minutes of the episode a bunch. And then, it's like you have all this stored up energy inside you. It's like, oh my God, we just got something huge that we've never had before.
Yeah.
And it's like, again, like when you've been starved your whole life and then suddenly you get like a gourmet 10-course meal. I watched a lot of reaction compilation videos.
Interesting.
And that helped me feel less alone with it. And, watching little kids' reactions was so wholesome and nurturing and fulfilling. Little kids just like jumping up and not being able to contain themselves and like sobbing and like freaking out with joy.
Yeah.
Because it's like, again, like feeling like our inner children being nurtured by that. That was really amazing. Such a gift.
Yeah, it was really lovely. And it still continues to be lovely.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned, connecting to it because it was connecting to your feelings about She-Ra, as a little kid. I also watched She-Ra as a kid and, I had the sort of protection.
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't thinking about that as much when I was watching this. Something I was thinking about was, feelings I had as a little kid when I was watching cartoons that I had gay feelings about and not knowing what to do with them and not being able to talk about them. Like, when I watched Jem and the Holograms, there was one episode where Jem's younger sister, Kimber, leaves the band because she feels unappreciated. And they also have an arch rival band called the Misfits. And like, the Misfits are mean and they're bad people. And they spend all their time trying to ruin Jem's band. They had one bandmate who's kind of not that mean, named Stormer. And she left their band because she felt unappreciated. And the two of them bumped into each other having peach melbas at the local bar. What are the odds? And they form a little side band, just the two of them, for that one episode. And they kind of have vibes. Their one song that they perform, and it's like they're singing to each other, is called I'm Okay, but they're singing it to each other. I was like shipping them as a 6-year-old. And so like, again, I had feelings that I didn't understand and I couldn't process and I didn't have community and there's no one to talk to about it. And I kind of implicitly understood that I wasn't supposed to talk about it, even though I didn't understand why. And so I was connecting back to stuff like that those feelings of aloneness. And now it's like, clearly this is something to be celebrated. And this is something that there's community around it. And to see these little kids just jumping for joy is such a beautiful, wholesome thing.
Yes. Yeah, these kids being like, wait, these are my heroes. These heroes might look like my mom's, or these heroes look like me, or these heroes don't resemble anybody in my life and don't resemble me, but I love them because it's my hero and they're part of my community, and these two people that I love each other.
And the normalization of it.
Yeah, the normalization of it.
Right out of the gate for these, for these little kids.
Yeah, it was a really wonderful thing. And I think this is a really great segue. So, Jenny and Ashley.
Yes.
I have a Professor Smartbrain moment about this particular scene. However, I am not an expert in this. So I called in an expert.
Ooh.
Hooray!
So this scene is reminiscent of a scene from a 1990s anime called Revolutionary Girl Utena. And it was an incredibly influential, sapphic-leaning 90s anime and manga series. Now, I've only seen it once, but I remembered this. And I found myself a good friend and an Utena expert. So we're going to actually kick right over to our conversation that we have with Caroline, our Utena expert.
Hooray!
Who is going to do this last Professor Smartbrain moment.
Hello, I am Caroline. A lot of you might know me as ButchBiscuit, the cheesy biscuit. That's me. I am the resident expert on our gay anime today. We're talking about Revolutionary Girl Utena.
Yay!
Ta-da! I really appreciate you guys having me on to talk about and explain Utena, a show that is notoriously easy to talk about and explain.
Totally. So I've seen it before, but it was a really long time ago. But when I first saw the scene, I was like, I've seen this before.
And I've never seen it, so I'm super excited to have a new layer added to my gay layer cake of this scene, which is, you would think it couldn't get any gayer, but it can always get gayer.
It's She-Ra. Of course it can get gayer.
I saw this when I was younger, so I recognized it, but I knew that it's been too long since I watched the series that I couldn't really get into not only what this scene is, but what this scene meant in terms of how the characters are playing it out, both Catradora and our characters from Utena. I figured I would bring in an expert from my last Professor Smartbrain moment.
Huzzah, huzzah.
Yeah, I'm very excited to help explain it.
I am so excited you're here to do that. So we've talked a lot on the show about, how important like older animes, like 90s and 2000s animes, like how influential they are to She-Ra. And I really wanted to talk about this one because this is like very formative to She-Ra. And so I want you to tell me more about Utena.
All right. Yeah, I will take it away. So, Revolutionary Girl Utena is a 1997 anime series. It ran for 39 episodes. It aired between April 2nd and December 24th of that year. It was directed primarily by Kunihiko Ikuhara, who some of you may know from his work directing several episodes of Sailor Moon, as well as directing Sailor Moon R, the movie. So I am going to read you the synopsis from Wikipedia because I tried about 10 times to write my own synopsis, and I couldn't come up with anything better or more concise than what Wikipedia already had. So here's what it says. It says, Revolutionary Girl Utena follows Utena Tenjo, a teenage girl who is drawn into a sword dueling tournament to win the hand of Anthe Himemiya, a mysterious girl known as the Rose Bride, who possesses, quote, the power to revolutionize the world.
Yeah, sword lesbians, revolutionary sword lesbians.
Our two main characters that guide us through the world of Utena are Utena herself, a classic sword girl.
Yes.
Ta-da! Everybody clapped. We all know them. We love them. They are gay. They're queer-coded. They're cocky.
Sounding familiar.
I can't think of anybody like that. Yeah.
So, classic sword girl. We love a gay girl with a sword. Utena has bright pink hair. as you've seen. So she stands out very much in the way that all anime protagonists do. And her main thing, just immediately when we see her, is that she wears a boy's uniform.
Nice.
And as she attends this school, she boldly declares that she wishes to become a prince. So yeah, she has a great heart. She's a really strong sense of justice, which is one of the things we learn about her right at the beginning. But she's also very naive. Her counterpart character, who I mentioned before, is Anthy Himamiya. Anthy, her deal is that, well, first off, she's got purple hair, so another great anime protagonist thing. And notably, she has darker skin. So she's portrayed as South Asian, probably Indian, which is very notable because no other characters besides her brother are portrayed with darker skin in that way. So I mentioned this in the synopsis, but Utena, it says that she becomes involved with a sword dueling tournament to win the hand of Anthy. And so Anthy, she has to become engaged to whoever is the current champion of these duels. And her deal is that she doesn't really have a lot of personality or expression. One thing that she enjoys doing is she likes to tend to the rose garden in the school's courtyard, but she's something of a blank slate. She'll agree with pretty much anything. She doesn't inject her own opinions, and she adheres pretty strictly to the rules of her role as the Rose Bride. This is the thing, is that even if you've never seen Utena, you have seen Utena. So Wikipedia, again, thank you, Wikipedia, gives a list of some of the notable works that have been inspired by Revolutionary Girl Utena.
Oh, wow.
So we have things like Revue Starlight, which is an anime. We have Princess Tutu. We have Madoka Magica. We have Mobile Suit Gundam, The Witch from Mercury. We have Steven Universe and She-Ra.
How does She-Ra and the Scene and Catradora, how do they reference what these particular roles are that we've talked about earlier? We have the prince and we have the Rose Bride. And then how can we connect them to Catradora?
Adora herself has elements of Utena, obviously, because they're both like kind of silly, cocky, like sword lesbians who are kind of ridiculous. But so I think a lot of people, especially when they're drawing like fan art or they're like doing sort of surface level analysis, it's really easy to be like, oh, Adora is Utena.
Right.
Easy. Done. They're both sword girls.
Right.
But Adora has a lot of elements of Anthy in her, which is the important bit that I want to get to later. Because during the scene, who it is that we're referencing and who's in what position is maybe gonna become important. So I'm going to describe a scene for you.
Okay.
One hand is in a void, reaching down from one of the corners of the frame, and another hand is reaching back from the other corner of the frame, and there's sort of like a light between them, and they're in this void, and it's two women, and they're lesbians. What am I describing?
I think I know this one.
They're calling out to each other. they're calling out each other's names.
I think I know this one.
Vaguely familiar.
Yeah.
They're making confessions. I mean, you know.
They are barely connecting. Their hands are barely connecting, almost touching.
This big scene that She-Ra is referencing is also the big scene in Utena. And it happens in the final episode 39.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like the big emotional climax. Here's a little bit of the setup for this scene.
Great.
So Utena and Anthy have gone through a lot of changes at this point in the show.
Mm-hmm.
They understand each other much more than before, although Utena is still laboring under one specific delusion, which is that she can be a prince. She still believes that she can be a prince.
Mm-hmm.
It's a big deal. So a little bit of the context here. So Anthy has sealed herself away in a coffin. And we're meant to understand that she's projecting herself with magic outside of the coffin every time that we've seen her in the show. The real, true Anthy is inside of this coffin.
Gotcha.
Whoa.
Utena is able to open this coffin. So she's injured, she's stumbling over to it, and she's pulling it aside. She's just barely able to pull aside the lid of this coffin to just form the smallest opening in it. And then we finally see inside of this coffin for the first time, and we see Anthy. And this is like our first real glimpse of Anthy, who she actually is. She looks up as the light sort of hits her face in this big void, and she sees Utena kind of like sticking her face through the opening of this coffin. They're calling out to each other. Before Utena is able to actually open the coffin, she does confess. She says, The only time I've ever been really happy was when I was with you.
Oh.
And her tears fall to the ground. In the heart, right? In Heart Part 2, the heart is like above them. This big power source, and it's dangerous, and it's humming, and it's like things are about to go down. Like everything is about to destroy itself. And in this scene in Utena, they're in this like metaphorical dueling arena, and the swords of hatred are buzzing about in this big cloud overhead, as like almost like the heart is. And so specifically, they're piercing Anthe over and over and over again in this like repeated imagery.
Whoa.
When Utena is trying to get through this door and her tears fall to the ground, the swords of hatred are suddenly stopped, and Utena's tear looks kind of like the tears that Adora cries in the heart, when her tears that sort of they go up in a line, which is such an interesting visual. I've always loved that. So the swords of hatred have stopped. That's when Utena is able to pull aside the coffin bit by bit. They're calling each other's name. Utena says, "Himamiya, at last we meet," because she understands that this is the real Anthe, the real one that she's seeing for the first time. Anthe sort of realizes that this is actually Utena, that she's not just interacting through a projection or like a ghost.
Right, that this is real.
And she's crying. And outside in the real world, the swords of hatred are becoming more unstable.
Much like the heart.
Exactly, you're getting it. And so back in the coffin, in this void, it's sort of a large void, Utena, she stretches out her hand. She's reaching down from the top right corner of the frame. And Anthe, from the bottom left corner of the frame, is initially reluctant to reach back, and she's fearing that the swords will kill Utena. And there's a beam of light that seems to connect them diagonally across the frame. And Utena is begging, and Anthe finally extends her own hand and reaches for Utena. And Utena whispers, "Someday, together." And she's referencing a past promise that they've made. Someday together, we will, I believe her promise is that 10 years from now, they can meet up and have tea with each other. And so she's referencing this moment as they're trying to touch each other. Their fingers touch, just barely. And outside, everything is falling apart, and the music is swelling. It's our
big gay hero moment.
It is, yeah. And their hands are like the only focus of the camera, and their grip on each other is loosening until finally they do slip from each other's grasp. And Anthe, she screams as her coffin kind of finally falls away. And Utena is left alone in this crumbling arena. And she says, "I guess in the end, I couldn't be a prince. Forgive me, Himamiya, for pretending to be a prince. Forgive me."
I thought that something good was going to happen when their fingers touched.
So the swords of hatred that have been buzzing around above them, they finally resolve into a single blade formed from the many, and they aim themselves directly at Utena. And they fly straight toward her. And the camera cuts before we can see what happens to her. And this is the last that we see of Utena.
What? That's a really fucked up cliffhanger ending.
I know, it's wild, but that's not the last we see of Anthe. This scene has been referenced so much. The outstretched hand.
Yeah.
That is such an iconic image of this show.
Yes, absolutely. Oh my gosh.
So we here at Heodora adore the regent of Catradora herself, Mickey Quinn.
Yes.
Who has explicitly multiple times mentioned, both in conversation and in interview, that in her character designs and in just like the design of Catradora's both relationship and a lot of the motifs, specifically the hand motifs, come directly from Utena.
Nice.
And there are a couple of great fan images that Mickey Quinn has done, and we can link you to those. I actually found them on the She-Ra and the Princesses of Power wiki. They have them there.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Oh, and I also wanted to interject. I did the slightest bit of research about this. So in one of his live streams, Nate was speaking about influences on She-Ra. And he mentions that anime influences were big from other members of the crew. So I think we know who that is. And he specifically says that they had anime days where they would watch anime together. And they would the Nate's crew would tell him a lot of the specific references that they were making in some of these scenes.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And there was a charity stream from 2019 that I think is lost to time, unfortunately. But you can still find this drawing. Nate drew Adora pulling her sword from Catra's chest.
Wow.
So there's a little doodle of that, which is, of course, an Utena reference.
Yeah.
But this is coming back to the parallels here.
Yeah.
In doing that, Nate has portrayed Adora as Utena. Because again, sword girls, it's easy to do. But in this big climactic scene, they're choosing to portray Adora as the Rose Bride.
Yes.
Adora is the one who is Anthe in this scene. And that is so significant because they're making a choice here to link all of Adora's struggles with Anthe's struggles. Where Adora is also somebody who has all of these systems of oppression just sort of like dumped on her as She-Ra, because we learn, of course, that She-Ra, as envisioned by the first ones, is like this weird perversion of what She-Ra should be. And it's this tool of control, and it's like a weapon. It's a power to be used by somebody else, which is also what the Rose Bride ultimately is for. The other significant thing here is that Adora makes the choice to be She-Ra.
Yes.
Is in these last two episodes, she takes the burden on. She's like, I'll take the heart. Like, I'll take the power of the heart. Nobody else can do it. And in her own way, Anthe is also making this self-sacrificial choice. She initially chose to be the Rose Bride. And the other thing is that we learn she could have left at any time. She actually is the one with all of the power in the situation. She's not trapped in her coffin. She can leave whenever she wants to. So Utena reaching out to try to save Anthe isn't necessarily because Anthe herself needs saving. It's because Anthe needs a reason to save herself. And it's the same thing with Adora, right?
Yeah.
Adora is She-Ra.
Yeah.
She can do anything, and she needs a reason to save herself.
Because of all the obligations that have been laid on her and that she's internalized. And I also think that it makes a lot of sense in terms of this type of storytelling to not fully commit to saying, oh, well, this character can only represent one character from this, and this other character can only represent one. Like, we've talked a lot about how Catra and Adora have flip-flopped. Like, they're both Jesus, and they're both, they're both positions in La Pieta. Like, it goes back and forth. Like, they contain multitudes.
Yeah.
Right, exactly. And so here it's the exact same way. Like in this scene, Catra is representing Utena. And in some ways they do have a lot of similarities. Like but you know, in other episodes, maybe Adora is going to be Utena.
Yeah, and I see like what you're describing, I see aspects of both characters in both Catra and Adora, and I think it makes a lot of sense.
So Kunihiko Ikuhara, the guy who is in charge of Utena, he says several different times, but specifically in the commentary for this last episode of Utena, he says that true revolution means gaining the power to imagine the future. And so what is it that Adora does in this episode? She imagines her future.
Yes.
Being married to Catra and hanging out with her best friends. Girls have been in love on screen before. That's certainly happened in anime.
Yes.
But it's like, but does it happen in the exact same way where it's like, this is it. This is the stakes. This is the world. And it's like them being in love with each other is like the turning point, you know? And I love that She-Ra builds on that so much. That's what we all love about it, is that like the entire thing falls away and it's like the only thing that matters is that these girls are in love.
So I'm excited that I got somebody else to do that smart brain moment.
Yeah, that was amazing.
I could not have gotten that deep into it. I should have been like, there were sword girls and there's like roses and stuff.
Yeah, it's so cool that after 5 years, I could still learn amazing new stuff about my favorite scene in all of television history.
Same. But we can't just sit here and watch them make out as much as we want to.
There are still like 3 or 4 more minutes of this show that we have to cover.
And we kind of have to wrap up the rest of the apocalypse.
Yeah, and it's all pretty cool. Now we get to see, you know, all the satisfying payoff.
Yeah.
So we change scenes here, and Horde Prime is doing his, I called this in my notes, And I know Ashley is shaking her head because I know she's doing it. This is Horde Prime's The Master speech from Buffy season 1, where it's like,
Yeah.
oh, cry Eternia, for Prime's mercy, glory, glory.
Yeah, this is his favorite thing. He has such a big smile
Yeah.
for destroying all of creation.
Yeah, and he's pretty fucking stoked. The universe will be consumed in an undying flame. Glory, glory. Well, that's not really what happens, is it, Jenny?
No, it's not. It's so funny. Like, I mean, if he destroys the entire universe at this point, he's going to die too. Like, he's already said that to Entrapped. He's like, oh, you forced my hand. We will be consumed together. It's like, you're so into destruction, you don't even care if you die too, as long as you win.
Yeah.
But so he's seeing all the apocalypse stuff happening. All the green flames are shooting out of the ground. It's all very apocalyptic. And as he's saying his final big line, his final big dick line, cry, Etheria, cry for Prime's mercy. There will be no comfort for you. All the universe will be consumed in undying flame. And he has the biggest smile on his face. And as he's saying this, we're seeing, the energy columns getting bigger and the ground crumbling more dramatically, as these green flames are getting closer and closer to all of our buddies.
Yeah.
And all of our buddies are cowering and holding on to each other and closing their eyes as they're waiting to be consumed. But that is not what happens.
But that is not what happens. Just as we all think Etheria is as doomed as dooms is could dooms is. That disgusting, sickening, green computer matrixy screen light changes.
It just stops.
Mm-hmm.
And we have more beautiful, natural sunlight prism. There's these cute little, yellow soot sprite thingies floating through the air.
Oh, the little magical Polypuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, the sun comes out.
The sun comes out. Out comes the sun and dries out all the rain. REIGN. Thank you.
Oh, good one.
Bam! So that is the light. That is the purifying light that we have. Not Horde Prime's techno-fascist light, but the purifying light of love and magic.
Actual sunlight.
Literal, actual sunlight. And of course, Horde Prime is like, what?
He is not. He's disgusted.
He's absolutely disgusted.
He's so disgusted that he drops Entrapta. It's like, ew. Sunlight is icky.
And emerging from the light is this wonderful glowing silhouette of the She-Ra.
It is Avatar She-Ra.
It is Avatar She-Ra. Everywhere she steps, life begins.
Mm-hmm.
She is the green Tara. She is the goddess. She is the earth. She becomes creation, wherein life springs from her steps.
Yes, and she's fully glowing.
Yes, all the dead mechanical artifice, all the false light now pulses with life, and the light of love, and trees and shit. We get trees and shit. It's great.
Oh, yeah. Life springs, as you said, from every step she takes.
Yep.
And when she's smiling, like you said, she is beaming, she is beatific.
Yes. Yes.
She has that sanguine peace energy radiating from her.
Yes. Sanguine and beatific are just phenomenal words.
Yes, very much the energy of the green Tara.
Yes.
It's not just about the powers, it's about what kind of energy she is exuding.
Absolutely. And it's the wildness and the unpredictability and uncontrollableness of magic and creation. She doesn't know when she steps what is going to be created, but it is going to be natural and it is going to be created and it's going to be beautiful.
And one of the things I love most in the healing that follows, she walks directly below, that big hovering space station that's up above them. And, this unbelievable blast of magic goes out from her sword up all the way up into fucking space. And instead of just destroying that space station, which she certainly could. She's powerful enough. She turns it into a fucking treehouse in space.
I know. I love Space Treehouse.
I love it so much. I love what it represents about the nature of her power and what she's here to do. And I read somewhere, and I couldn't find this now to confirm for our show notes, but I know I read this once, that originally they did have her just destroying it. And then I can't remember the reason why they decided to change it, but they did change it instead of her just destroying it to transforming it into a space treehouse.
This is such a better idea.
Maybe because it's just more in line with, she's just healing everything.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that obviously is more upsetting to Prime than just having it blasted.
Organic creation is more upsetting to Prime than inorganic cloning and destruction.
Yes.
And I love that, like, this war has been going on for so long, and they've been fighting for so long, and she comes out and there's no violence in this at all. She just comes out and heals everything without fighting anyone, like, the violence is over at this point.
Right, because, she flips the sword up, heal space, flip the sword down, heal the planet.
It's just such a good moment. It's just a good reminder that even if things can get so, so bad, you really do need that kernel and seed of love to fight back. And she uses that sort of love to do that. And it's really wonderful. But, of course, Prime hates all of this and notices that maybe his entire kingdom has been destroyed, just his entire existence. But that's fine. He still has his end evil bad guy speech and says, though all is reduced to rubble, Prime shall rise again. So it has been, and so it always shall be.
Yeah, it's ironic that to him, this is everything being reduced to rubble.
Right. Well, it's chaos that he can't control. Like, it's things that are out of his control. He's got to drop in one of his last little, like, evil, like, preacher maledictions.
He has to have the last word.
He's got to have the last word. He's such a bitch.
He is. That's what I have, too. That's the note I have there, is that She-Ra still has the failsafe glowing on her chest as she approaches Prime, who is now seething on the ground like a little bitch.
Yeah. Jenny, you want to talk about what She-Ra does here? Because she is She-Ra right now. She's still Adora, but she's very much She-Ra.
Yes. Yeah, so she's still exuding this absolute calm and peace. She still has the failsafe, which is the heart, glowing at her center. And she just kneels down in front of him, and she's totally calm. And she says, no, you're wrong. It's time for you to go. And she was already low-key glowing, but now she takes his face in her hands and she, like, looks deeply into his eyes. And now she starts, like, full-on glowing again, like she was when she first walked outside. Like, turn the battery all the way up to 10, get that glow fully saturated, like, turn the powers all the way up. And this bright yellow energy field surrounds them both. And she just magically expunges Horde Prime from Hordak's body. Because this is Hordak's body that Horde Prime has been occupying. And the essence of Prime just erupts out of Hordak's back like this black blob of poison with a bunch of green eyes.
Yeah.
And it just explodes into light. So she's, like, exorcised him.
Yes. I have this also written as an exorcism.
And this is a magical, it's funny, magic is what he fears. He has extended his body through technology, his lifespan, rather.
Yeah.
And we've talked before about, like, what is the essence of Prime if he has cycled his consciousness through untold numbers of bodies, through untold numbers of centuries. And, he needs to keep all his past bodies on ice, basically, so he can access old memories. So it's like, what is it that makes his consciousness continuous if he doesn't fully remember all of his old memories? There's some indelible core to him.
And it's goo.
It's goo.
Yeah.
And so the real answer to how to fully get rid of him has to be magic, not tech. Because if the answer was tech, he would find a way,
Jenny,
around it. Yes.
Don't you mean magic?
Yes, I do. And so we get this beautiful flashback scene once Horde Prime has been expunged from Hordak's body.
Yes.
Where Adora and Hordak get to reconnect with each other in this way. I don't want to call it pure because, of course, they've both had a lot of experiences that can't just be swept under the rug.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like they get to start again and choose a new path forward.
I have it as simple.
Yeah. Does someone else want to talk about it? Because I feel like I've been painting the scene too much. Who else wants to paint this scene? Meph, do you want to paint this scene?
I do. I do have a brush here. I do. Throughout this episode, I have been asking everybody to put pins in places where our antagonists have made choices.
Yes.
And because of the choices that our antagonists have made, they have made that one small step towards creation, towards putting some good into the world. But there's some evil, quote unquote evil, that you cannot reform. And Prime is that. And this reminds me very much, and Jenny and Ashley, once I say it, you will probably be like, oh yeah, this reminds me of when Aang shuts off the bending abilities for Fire Lord Ozai.
Yeah, I mean, the part where she expunged Prime, you mean? Yes, absolutely.
Yes. So the part where she expunges Prime is finding the non-violent way to vanquish the evil by taking away evil's power.
Absolutely.
And this isn't a very important part of the series because this is where she actually does kind of traditionally defeat evil. As I'd mentioned, all of our antagonists have shown themselves in having a capacity for not maybe redemption, but for changing their minds and actions and embracing love and magic. Even Shadow Weaver, even Hordak, right?
Yeah.
But Horde Prime is incapable of embracing love. That's the whole thing, right? If he is if magic is his anathema, then he is incapable of embracing love. And he is incapable of embracing love because it questions his entire drive of himself and his character, which is control. He can't control magic, he can't control love, and he can't control chaos. And therefore, he is evil. And there's no way that he can have the smallest amount of humility here and make that choice that's not about control. And that's why he's evil. And he had to cease to exist in order for the universe to continue.
That is correct. But Hordak does have the ability to make different choices. So now we get this really beautiful flashback scene to when Hordak and Baby Adora first met at the portal where she came through. Mm-hmm. It's this quiet, wordless scene, very short. Mm-hmm. Got grass gently blowing in the breeze. Hordak, you can sort of see that he's younger. You know, he's kind of got hollow cheeks.
Yeah.
He looks sort of younger and thinner.
He's younger and thinner, as all of us were.
Yeah, you know, he's got his old colors back. He's got his blue hair before he got purified back to all white like all of his brethren. And he sort of looks down in surprise to see Baby Adora in his arms. He's like, oh, what's this? He's a little disoriented, which is understandable because he's just been through a lot in a very short time. And he just looks down and sees Baby Adora in his arms, and she smiles at him and puts her hand over his. And that's it. That's the whole scene. And then we just flash immediately back to the present, and Hordak gasps and opens his eyes, and he looks at Adora, present-day Adora, She-Ra, who is still smiling at him with one hand on his face.
Yeah.
And the breeze is sort of still blowing through her hair. There's the continuity of the breeze. And he just says, I remember you. And it's very touching.
Yeah. Yeah, it is touching. And Entrapta is so happy because he gets boyfriends. And Entrapta is like,
yes.
Yay, Hordak! And she's so excited.
Yeah.
And she runs into him and holds him, and they spin around, and she has boyfriends time, and she's super excited. Jenny, give me I need your Entrapta here.
She hugs him so hard they spin around. She says, oh, I'm so glad you're back. Oh, we have so much to talk about.
It's wonderful.
You know, and the scene sort of pans out as you know, they walk away and She-Ra walks to the edge of the cliff and she gazes out at the beautiful landscape below, and we see this fully restored landscape. And it kind of reminds me of the very end of The Dark Crystal when we see the fully restored landscape, because there's that giant spire in the middle and everything's grown up around it. And it sort of reminds me of the end of The Dark Crystal when the Crystal Palace has been restored and there's this now beautiful, lush landscape around it. And before it was all just desert. It's just a quick moment, but, it's just like, here you go.
It's a wonderful moment.
And, then we pan down to the valley where everyone is happily reuniting with their loved ones and celebrating. And they're all celebrating winning in the end.
Yeah, and they're all unfrozen.
Yes, there's a bunch of people unfrozen. Casta helps Micah up. He finally gets to meet Glimmer for real. And of course, he's a bit nervous and stammery. And he puts his hand out like they're going to greet each other for the first time with a handshake. And he says, hello, I'm your dad.
It's so good.
And she just hugs him and cries.
Yeah.
It was nice of him to not assume she wanted a hug, though.
That's true.
It's true. I mean, he could have just held out his arms and let her come to him. But, his awkwardness is very cute.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's adorable.
Right. I agree with Ashley. It is like, if somebody holds out their arms, it's like, oh, do I give you a hug? It could be awkward. But him just being like, hi, I'm your dad. Like,
yeah, there's no way to fault.
He has no expectations other than being like, hi, I know you. You might not know me, but
I technically know you.
I made you. And then we move through our best friends squads and our pals.
Yes, Natasha dips Spinny and they share a triumphant kiss like in the opening credits.
A fantastic triumphant kiss.
A gay love wins in the end kiss.
Yeah, a fantastic triumphant gay love wins in the end kiss between wives. We love them. We see our animal pals, Swifty and Milog and Emily just frolicking together, being pals and pets together.
All our pets are okay.
Perfuma, Ashley, do you want to talk about Perfuma? And Scorpia, because I know that you love Scorpia.
I do. So Scorpia, okay, and I actually, I have a lot to say about this, actually. I think that this is also a super gay moment.
Oh, yeah,
because Scorpia is standing there and Perfuma walks up and she says, oh, Perfuma, you look great. And I'm like, gay panic.
You press the gay panic button over and over again.
It's so good. I was like, that's got to be an honorable mention gayest moment for me because it gets me every time. But,
absolutely.
Yes. And then they're quickly interrupted because Catra walks up.
Yeah. And I do like how this is handled because, Scorpia's gonna like go back to Perfuma and be like, so do you like stuff? Listen, I was bad, but maybe we could go to the malt shop or something fucking wholesome, because Scorpia's wholesome as fuck, right?
Yes.
So, but, she still has to kind of wrap it up with Catra. And this is really important because Catra has probably been thinking about this moment in the back of her head too. Like, holy shit, I was such a bad friend. I was an abusive friend. I was a fucking asshole to this person who was just so loyal to me. How do you even approach that? And so we have Catra coming in from a place of like humility and is just like, hey, Scorpia, so, and Scorpia just Canada's all over her, picks her up and is like, and it's so funny because Catra's reaction to like, so hey, oh God, yep, there
it is.
Yep.
Said, I'm a hugger.
Yeah. And I think like Catra's probably been imagining this scenario so many times, like how it would go. And she's probably imagined it being like, all right, I'm going to apologize And, it's going to take a long time for her to accept. And like, I'm going to have to do a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
And maybe she'll accept it a little bit at first. And then I'm going to have to show her in a bunch of stages how serious I am about my apology. And like, it's going to take a long time and it's going to be grueling. And she's like raking herself over the coals about how slow of a process it's going to be.
Exactly.
And then it's just all over in 2 seconds with a giant bear hug. And then they all jump in. It's a giant princess hug.
After our princess hog pile here, we Entrapped and Hordak just kind of walk by, being boyfriend's time. And they walk by Seahawk and Mermista, and they're looking at each other with googly love eyes. And then Mermista notices Entrapped and Hordak and is like, so are we all just like okay with this?
Yeah, she's probably saying what a lot of folks at home are thinking.
Yeah, and she does have a really good point. And it's the same with Catra, right? Like she doesn't even extend that to Catra, but I mean, Catra destroyed her kingdom.
We've seen Catra being on a path.
Yes, but Mermista has not.
Right.
Mermista hasn't seen any of these people that were like the Horde all of the sudden be like snuggly wuggly pals with all of our friends.
And like now we have 1,000 clones who are now just like on Etheria. What are they going to do? But they've never even had their own individual consciousness before.
Right.
Now they're just like a bunch of newborn babies.
But Marissa does have a really good point about like, what does forgiveness look like for those whose kingdoms were destroyed, whose lives were lost by Catra? Like specifically, we can go with Catra and Hordak.
Yeah.
Yeah, there has to be some type of accountability.
Yes. And we don't know what that accountability looks like.
But they're going to figure it out as a community.
They're going to figure it out in the end.
Yeah, I mean, they're all going to have to rebuild together.
Yeah.
Catra helping bring magic back to the universe is certainly a form of service.
I mean, yeah.
It's a pretty big form of service.
It's a pretty big gesture. And as we've talked about through the series, and specifically through Catra's redemption and the idea of redemption throughout the series, that it is a continuous work. It is the continuous work. And while Catra did make the big gesture, we are also going to, I do predict we will see, because we have a trend of this, of Catra continuing to work at.
Yeah.
Exactly.
The big idea of redemption, but like the smaller, just, building community.
Exactly.
Yeah. I don't think anybody's going to jail here.
Yeah, no. I mean, Bright Moon does not have a prison system.
As we've learned, Bright Moon does not have a prison. So,
and it wouldn't do any good anyway. What they need is works of rebuilding, works of service.
Yeah. Well, the camera continues to move throughout the rebellion. Bo takes Catra. Look at us now, from capturing you to us being buddies. And Catra, is very excited about that too. And Bo just says, "This is so dope." And I agree, Bo. This is so dope.
Yes. And finally, Adora gets to relax. She walks over. She's still in She-Ra form for these last few moments. She walks over to the edge of a clearing and looks out over the valley, where there is a spectacular view of the Etherian landscape, which now looks idyllic as fuck. And she finally transitions back into herself, and she has this relaxed smile, which I don't think we've ever seen on her before.
No, and she's bathed in light.
Yeah.
Yes, and she's just watching all of this bucolic wildlife. There's a flock of birds flying by, and there's some big dino-like beasties lumbering peacefully through the landscape. And that's when, we have a quick pan over to some helmeted Horde soldiers gazing up at their new nature-covered architecture. And then we go over to Raz.
Before we go to Raz, I had a question. Do you think the Horde soldiers were like, well, fuck, there's like a monkey in my bed now. How the fuck am I gonna sleep? Where am I gonna get my ration bars? Like,
yeah, they're gonna have to totally reassess and reevaluate their lives.
Right. They go in to get their like one pair of underwear and it's like covered in moss, and they're like, the fuck, man? Oh, well.
Yeah, the fright zone is pretty obsolete now.
They're going to be dealing with a bunch of refugees here. So, anyway.
I think the rest of the Etherian kingdoms will be happy to take them in.
I think so, too. So then we move to Raz, as Jenny was saying.
Yes. Raz, who is happily sweeping the dirt outside her little treehouse. She gazes up at the sky and says, "Ah, you would be proud, Mara dearie."
Yup. And I love we got our last little glimpse of Raz. She knew it was going to happen all along because she experiences time like a true psychonaut. She's just like, right? She's just like, time? What's that? Everywhere. Time is an illusion and I am an illusionist. And so happy that we get to see Raz.
She's at peace. The animals are at peace. Catra and Adora are at peace. Catra approaches Adora where she's gazing at the landscape, and Adora reaches out a hand.
Mm-hmm.
We get one final full screen shot of them holding hands.
Yep. And it's not every single time we've seen them holding hands, it's been in a dire situation.
Mm-hmm. Right, they're always like reaching for each other.
Reaching for each other. This is just very casual. It's like, hey, you want to hold hands now?
Yeah. They're just existing together now.
They could just be girlies, just gal pals, just gals being pals, palling about, galling sapphickly. So,
yeah, and they put their foreheads together.
Yep, they do kitty bonks and Catra purrs.
Yeah, the purr gets me.
The purr gets me. It's so good. And they both have this wonderful sigh. Adora says, "It's over. He's gone." And Catra just says, "Good riddance."
After they say those two lines, we get this perfect, beautiful, like sustained beat of silence with them just standing together like that, with their foreheads together, holding each other in the center of this perfect landscape. And their bodies, it's a full body shot of them, are very small in the center of this large landscape shot.
Yeah.
That is just so fucking idyllic. There's rainbows in the sky behind them.
Yep.
Little bits of magic still floating through the air.
Little bits of
magic. So much magic. It's just fucking idyllic and bucolic and perfect. Like, you know, and they're just existing and resting, and there's nothing left for them to do. And they just get to hold each other and be together in the midst of this beauty and bliss.
I love that.
And they can finally relax.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe not go to Mysticor.
No, they do not have to go to Mysticor. They don't have to go anywhere.
They don't have to go anywhere. In fact, right now they're not going anywhere because they get love tackled by our other favorite couple in the Best Friend Squad. Glimmer and Bo jump in, laughing, giggling, yelling, tackle these two, and they all roll down this beautiful, lush, green, rolling hill, laughing.
Yep. And it's this very sweet moment. Remember, like, you know, back in the beginning when we were talking about how when they were all wrestling for the sword, it was like the innocence of their kidness before everything got super serious.
Yeah.
How dopey they were.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of like they get to be goofy. I mean, they're not kids anymore. But, I mean, we're not kids either, and we still act goofy and ridiculous.
There's no age limit to silliness.
No, absolutely.
Yeah, they just get to be silly, goofy, and childlike again.
Silly
and
gooses.
Be like, hey, we're going to be goofy and roll down this hill with our friends.
Yeah. Who doesn't love rolling down a hill? I love rolling down a hill.
And they land, you know, they collapse in the grass, and they're all laughing and looking up at the sky. I mean, they're still just college age. This is like college shenanery.
Yeah, it is.
Like, we have some free time. Let's roll down a hill. Ho-ho. And after a moment, Bo leans up on one elbow and says, "So, what are we going to do now?"
Like, on one hand, like, I get why we end this, but what are we going to do now? But also, Bo, just chill. Just snuggle your girlfriend. Like, play guitar.
Like, they could have just ended by being like, "Oh, and now we're all just going to chill." But I do love this moment for Adora because now she really does get to decide what she wants now.
Mhm.
Yep.
And she's never been able to let herself even think about it before.
Yeah.
And now she does get to let herself think about it. And she just looks up at a shooting star and says, we can bring magic back to the universe. And you can really tell from the way she says it that this is what she wants to do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
She says we can, not like, oh, well, this is what we should do.
Mhm.
It's like, this is what she wants to do.
It's what she wants to do.
And she's excited about it.
Yeah.
And like, she's never talked about her plans this way before.
Yeah.
You know, she's relaxed and she's smiling. She's like, oh yeah, this is, we can do this.
Mhm.
And she's just so happy and excited and full of awe. And that is all.
They all agree. Glimmer's in. Bo's obviously in. Catra, of course, is going with you, dummy. And then, just to drive the point home, Adora's last lines, and the last lines in the series are, then let's do this together.
And then we get this one final shot. The camera pans up skyward, past their new permanent space treehouse, into the gorgeous Etherian starry bisexual sky.
And that's it.
We did win in the end.
We did win in the end with gay love and magic. Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
Ashley's response was like, man, I didn't know if we were going to, but
Hell yeah, brother, we did it.
hell yeah! Hell yeah, brother! Yeah. Hell yeah, brother! Crushing beer cans
Yeah.
on our heads. Yeah, brother! Fucking nay! Win in the end! Friends. My two dear friends.
Oh, dear friends.
What did we learn from the entire series?
I think we learned that queer love wins in the end.
Mm-hmm.
And community solidarity wins in the end.
Yes.
Yeah.
The power of friendship isn't something to fuck with.
Yes!
We are stronger with our support systems, and queer love can and has and will continue to save the universe.
That's right.
Damn. I can't argue with that.
That sums it up.
That sums it up. First, before I go into the spiel, I would love to thank every single person that has ever been involved with this production.
Absolutely. Oh my God.
It's Jenny. Thank you. I love you.
I love you too, Meph. Thank you.
Ashley was our first producer and continues to kick ass with our social media stuff because I don't know how to use computer thumb. The ones that go in your hands with the watching, that do sounds. I also want to thank Seth, who is our producer in between Ashley and myself. Thank you, Seth, for stepping up and taking care of stuff. We appreciate that. We want to thank all of our patrons. You are all fantastic. I love our Discord.
Also, all of our guests who have made our conversation so much more rich.
Yes, thank you to all of our guests. Thank you to our community for staying strong, even when things have been good and things have been bad and things have been very scary. Thank you to our community for sticking strong. And thank you to Nate for making my childhood superhero gay.
Amen to that. Yeah, thank you to Nate and everyone on the She-Ra team who fought to get this show made and to make it as gay as it fucking is, because that was a real journey. And also everyone who has ever made any other show that was a little bit gay and then a little bit more gay and a little bit more gay along the way that paved the way, because it's been a long journey to get to this point. And She-Ra was the real watershed moment, but it's not like it could have happened if not for all those stepping stones of gayness along the way. And I think that might be a great segue to a tiny, tiny teaser.
We're going to be taking a medium break, but then we're going to be coming back and we're going to be chatting about some of our favorite queer media.
Yes, there will be more stuff. But if you like She-Ra, boy, you're going to love what we talk about next. I know we already thanked each other, but Meph, thank you for being such an awesome friend and co-host. This has been an amazing journey. It's been such an awesome part of my life that has helped me have something to look forward to through some dark times that the last 5 years have brought.
Yeah, same, Jenny.
I love you, man.
I love you too. Thank you. Well, folks, if you liked what you heard and you want... Oh, fuck it! We won in the end! We won in the end! Gay love saves the universe!
If you want to keep saving the universe gaily with us, how about that?
Yeah! You can also find us on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube, where all of the love can be shared, and just fucking love us forever and ever.
Most gaily.
At HeyAdoraCast, or you can email us. Just say hi. At this point, we just need to go bring magic to the universe. So just say hi. Just email us hi. Yeah, just email us at heyadoracast@gmail.com. And if you want to continue giving us your gay theories, you can join our Patreon. We have fantastic perks. We have Patreon-only live watches. We have video hangouts. I'm going to be putting together a compilation of every single song that I have ever used in every playlist.
Whoa. You can also unpack all your feelings about the pod having ended with a bunch of really awesome people, because we have some of the awesomest Shira fans in our Discord.
Yeah, so please join us. The Discord is the best part. And if you'd like to join us, or you want to listen to some fantastic playlists and all of the other things, you can find a link to our Patreon in our show notes or at heyadora.k.
That's right, folks. All of our stuff is always at the gayest place on the internet. It's heyadora.gay.
And this is not the last time you're going to hear it, but it will be the last time for this series. Queer joy is radical.
And queer love saves the universe!
They got some kissing happening with gal pals.